We're back to the ever-loathsome Battle Palace, and some of you actually wrote to me in the comments in the last video that the Battle Pike actually wasn't so bad. Which, well, I apologize if I didn't make myself very well understood. It's probably the easiest out of all the facilities, and I'm not just referring to the fact that Pike Queen Lucy has a Seviper, not only in the silver battle, but also in the gold battle. Yeah, Seviper, yeah, real strong powerhouse, while everything else has stuff like Slacking and Suicune and Latios and whatnot. That girl uses Seviper. Yes, I know your attraction looks a lot like Seviper, but that's no reason to use a freaking Seviper in a battle that should, by all means, be tougher than the final boss. But, yeah, I went on a tangent again. That's not what I was trying to say at all. What I was trying to say was that the Battle Pike indeed is rather easy, even if it's luck-based. It's just that it relies on more positive luck, if you will, than the freaking Battle Palace. And this billboard here is telling us pretty much what I've been telling you for the last hour of footage or so. And yes, I know what an offensive move or a defensive move is, but would a move, for fun, would a move like Swords Dance fall under offensive since it boosts your attack, or defensive since it, well, actually it's just a stat-up move that doesn't do any damage on its own, or would it be a support move, which would make sense as well? Yeah, that kind of thing is rather curious. I guess I should read up on that. As you can see, I haven't had too much practice in the Battle Palace. I hate it so much. I didn't spend any more time in there than I needed to, just like that freaking Neon Coliseum in Battle Revolution, which was the attraction that I was referring to in the last video. It's called the Neon Coliseum, the one with the roulette, where your opponent can end up with your own Ubers, and you can end up with your opponent's not fully evolved Pokemon in the blink of an eye. And yes, when a Pokemon is at low HP, when it has a lot of ouchies, like that little girl said, a Pokemon may start battling differently, but not my Groudon, since she said that it would attack both when it had high and low HP, which I don't remember. What was its nature already? Well, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And yes, it's how well the moves match the nature of the Pokemon, but it's not like offensive moves necessarily match an adamant or modest nature, if you catch my drift. It doesn't really have much to do with that. And yes, not telling us anything we don't already know. And okay, I wonder what sort of nature a Pokemon would have if it favored enfeebling its opponents and chipping away slowly. I would think pretty much any nature that resorts on support moves. I'd be surprised if it was a lax nature. Actually, I should go check this up, because it could either mean that it is a lax nature or it isn't. But, yeah, that kind of double entendre can be misleading. So I'm just not going to talk about it anymore, because here, this is the Battle Arena, which is once again a ripoff of a battle tent, the one in Fall Arbor this time. And just in case you don't remember the basics of that attraction, basically it's that you have 3 one-on-one matches with your Pokemon, and, well, it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's a 2 out of 3 series, and if you don't win the fight in those 3 turns, it goes to the judges, and there's a judge that judges you based on how much HP you have left at the end of the battle. Another judge judges you depending on how much you went on the offense, and another one on how much your moves actually worked. So the best way to win here with the judges would be to use accurate moves like Thunderbolt, but also offensive ones as well, because if you just set up during the 3 turns, because, yeah, that's what I forgot to mention, the battles last 3 turns each. If you just set up the first 2 turns, you're probably not going to impress the judge that's in charge of determining how much you went on the offense. In fact, it wouldn't be such a bad idea to use a choice band user in here. Remember, the Specs and Scarf didn't exist back then. But yeah, the choice band gives you an instant boost of damage, and since the opponent cannot switch out until the battle's outcome has been decided, as the text was saying right there, conveniently enough, since it can't switch out, the major drawback of the choice band is nulled to a certain extent, so you just have to pick the best move and keep pummeling your opponent with it. And of course, as I said, you'll want accurate moves because you gain brownie points from the skill judge if you hit with your attack instead of, you know, missing with thunder or something like that. So accuracy is even more beneficial in this case. And okay, yeah, if it was an offensive move, the skill rating goes up if the move was super effective. So if you have a choice band and a super effective move, by all means go for it. That's the easiest way to win if it ever goes to the judges, because with a choice band and super effective moves, it shouldn't need to go to the judges usually. And the final judge, yep, it's body. As I said, this factor is based on how much HP your Pokemon has at the end of the battle. So, yeah, that's basically the Battle Arena in a nutshell. Fairly interesting attraction, but not quite as cool as the Battle Pyramid, which is the last one we haven't visited yet. We're going to go there in just a moment. But yeah, I know. Needs more, Steven! Come on, just give me a chance to finish this, okay? When I'm done with this, you will have all the Steven you want, okay? So stop complaining! But yeah, before we go to Steven, there are still some things we are going to need to take care of in the Battle Frontier other than the attractions. There's a Sudowoodo for us to catch, and I'm going to catch it since it's a one-off Pokemon in this game. And the Sudowoodo is guarding a secret cave in the Battle Frontier called the Artisan Cave, where only Smeargles are found, and there are a few items in there as well, so we're going to check it out. And after that, no, we're not going to go to Steven after that, because there's still one more surprise left before we do that. And I'm just going to check out what these three have to say. Lost on the referee's decision. I don't think it was a good idea to only use defensive moves. Hello! The battle lasts 3 turns! You have 3 turns to kill your opponent! Okay, landing hits consistently on the opponent's Pokemon work. Well, of course, the battle lasts 3 turns! It's declared a draw. Both my Pokemon and the opponents had about the same amount of HP left. Yeah, of course, it can happen if the other judges can't come to a decision either, which reminds me, I completely forgot to switch back to the Mach Bike before coming here, which doesn't really matter because we don't really need the Mach Bike in either the Artisan Cave or Meteor Falls. But yeah, you'll probably notice that I emphasized a lot on how the battles in the Battle Arena only last 3 turns, but it's because, you know, it's fairly crucial in determining what kind of strategy you'll use, because if you need the referees to dictate what kind of strategy to use for a 3-turn battle, then there really isn't a lot that can be said to salvage your strategy. But okay, there's this little cabin here. I wonder if there's any more of these conveniences. Okay, what the hell's going on here? Another cult or something? You see, we're busy. Okay, so what's going on here? Is this a betting corner of some sort? I know a winner when I see one. Definitely looks like it. Looks like those guys actually bet on the outcome of battles instead of just fighting themselves. It's good that you get rattled too easily to survive the Battle Dome. Well, I'd be rattled too if I met Tucker in person. And this guy doesn't seem to understand what they're doing. Well, I don't either, because if you're coming to the Battle Frontier, it's probably going to be to battle yourself, unless you want to make a documentary on it, sort of like what I'm doing right now. And this right there is the Battle Pyramid, probably my favorite attraction in both battle frontiers combined, both in Generation 3 and 4, that is. It's really original.